Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and today we have a review of a brand new LEGO Dreamzzz set. This is one of the smallest sets of the wave, Mateo and Z-Blob the robot, which actually does have quite a lot of rebuild potential, as one of the LEGO Dreamzzz gimmicks is rebuilding the models into different things. I can't wait to showcase this, and definitely stay tuned, because not only did we publish a full-on mega review of all of the LEGO Dreamzzz sets, but I'll be publishing individual reviews of each and every single one, so stay tuned for that, and let's go. Okay, this is set number 71454, Mateo and Z-Blob the robot. It retails for $20 US, 21 euros, and comes with 237 pieces, making this a really great value for a smaller $20 style set for LEGO Dreamzzz. The first thing I want to talk about for LEGO Dreamzzz for basically all the sets are the instruction manuals. I find it really interesting how LEGO Dreamzzz has evolved on the concept introduced for Ninjago Core, which told a bit of a story through comic pages in the instructions and really gone all out with it, which really emphasizes that as you're building things, you can see that there's a story being told throughout the entire build process. This is the case for pretty much all of the LEGO Dreamzzz instructions, and it just gets more and more elaborate the larger the sets are, so I'd highly recommend that when these sets actually launch in August for you to check out the instruction manuals, because they're actually really cool in the way that they actually tell a story as you're building, and I'm sure kids are going to love actually being able to take part in the story itself. Now, much like all of the LEGO Dreamzzz sets, there are two different ways to build this. There is a standard configuration holding a spray paint style of gun as well as a turret on the top, as well as a jetpack configuration with a flag, so you can see that you can choose either way depending on how you want to actually reconfigure the set. I've chosen just to build this based on the standard configuration, which is pretty much the one that you see on the front of the box. That's kind of the A model, which you can see the artwork for right here. But if you choose, you can also build it into the jetpack version, which is the B model, so to speak. It does come with a couple of additional pieces to do this. It kind of reconfigures the way the head itself is shaped. So you kind of have a visor or helmet that Z-Blob himself is wearing to rocket upwards to the sky, which is a really cool addition, but I definitely prefer it in this particular form because this is the one that you actually mostly see throughout the show itself. Again, for 237 pieces, this is actually pretty solid value. You get a whole on figure, a side build for the villain, a couple of additional pieces. Right here, they're just used as kind of blobs of slime on the ground, as well as the flag is being utilized as a target for the stud shooters, but of course these pieces are utilized for the alternate build as well. And with that, we can take a look at the minifigures. So the main hero included in the set is Mateo. Now Mateo is identical to pretty much all of the other configurations of his appearance in the other sets, except for the fact that he does not have a green cape, which is a bit unfortunate, but it seems like they are making that green cape exclusive to some of the larger sets. He uses a dual molded gold and transparent clear hourglass, which was first introduced for LEGO Elves and then was brought back for Disney Princess Frozen Castle. And we also have a brick-built pencil being used as his sword-like weapon here. Mateo introduces a new hairpiece as well as an alternate expression on the back there, and overall you can see that is what the figure looks like. The set also includes a hapless civilian to capture. This is not one of the members of the Dream Chasers team, but instead is just kind of another civilian at the school that they need to rescue from the Nightmare King's forces. I like how he has some sort of dental gear and braces being incorporated in to kind of show the age of the character, and those unicorn pajamas are really adorable, and I think it's cool how they all have these alternate expressions where it showcases the characters actually sleeping, which I'm sure is going to be super useful for just other LEGO builds in general. Now, the small side build here is a bed that has been captured by the Nightmare King's kind of infection here. You've got two beady eyes, which are new prints for the LEGO Dream theme. Super simple build, just have some claws sticking out of the side of the bed here. Overall, just a pretty simple type of side build for the villains, but one that I think makes sense as someone who you need to save. Of course, though, the main build is Z-Blob himself, and this is a robot that appears in a ton of the episodes. It's kind of the robot version of the character. You have head articulation in terms of being able to rotate the head back and forth. I like the printing being used for just the two simple eyes on the transparent dome here. LEGO has introduced a brand new ratchet socket element for LEGO Dreamzzz, which you can see right here, which allows you to actually be able to rotate elbows and legs with some amount of friction in them, which I think is really cool. I cannot wait to see what LEGO does with this piece in the future, because it is really good for building this scale of large action figure style of builds. You have a good amount of articulation in the legs themselves. Again, you can kind of bend the knees to rotate them. Not actually bend them, but you can rotate them in different configurations, so it kind of allows you to have the articulation of a ball joint without having the increased amount of flexibility that you actually are able to save with the ratchet joint here, making this a lot more stable, but also posable at the same time, which is a really cool thing. Now, Z-Blob does incorporate an extra sticker sheet as well. There are a number of additional stickers that you can utilize to just place on the robot itself. So what I've done is I've placed a couple on the feet here and placed some on the sides of the arms, just in places where I felt like it made sense to include some extra stickers. And I like that for LEGO Dreamzzz, they're allowing kids to be creative and build their own things with additional sticker pieces, because that's something they did a little bit for Ninjago Prime Empire. They did it with Hidden Side, but a lot of the sets for Dreamzzz actually have this factored in, and I think that's a really cool function. Now, the only downside to me for a Z-Blob is that I feel like there's too much articulation for the waist, where it really is easy for it to just rotate downwards. It doesn't really keep a pose. I'm kind of surprised that this was allowed to kind of get through for an official LEGO set. I would have expected a lot more friction in the waist here, but unfortunately, there's just not enough friction. I can think of a couple ways they could have done it where it would have had more friction, but as it is right now, I definitely feel that especially with the weapon, the top of the body for the waist does rotate a little bit too much. But as long as he's standing up, it's not that big of a deal. On the back of the robot, you can see some pretty standard detailing on the back, nothing super crazy going on here, although I do like the vehicle fender piece being utilized to form the upper part of the cockpit area here, or kind of where the head comes out. And there you can see it, just the top part just pops out really easily, so I definitely wish there was more friction there. And you also have this mounted blaster on the side here, which does have a ratchet joint, so you can kind of rotate that back and forth in the click joint here, as well as just a Technic articulation to really just be able to articulate that however you want. And for the weapon piece here, they are introducing a brand new element for LEGO Dreamzzz, although to be honest, I'm not super sold on it. They've used it as a tree before, they've used it as jet exhaust, here they're using it as kind of a blade slash kind of paint blast. I feel like they're kind of trying to do a little bit too much with this weapon piece and instead not really accomplishing either thing that it's trying to be. If it's supposed to be a tree, it feels too much pointed like a weapon, and if it's supposed to be an exhaust, I don't know why I can still see the pedals in it, so definitely not one of my favorite new pieces, but I guess it makes sense as a creative dual-purpose piece for LEGO Dreamzzz. The gun itself honestly really reminds me of LEGO Exoforce in the way it's constructed. It feels kind of like a kind of weapon that they would have you brick build up for Exoforce mechs, and honestly this entire set kind of feels a little reminiscent of it. I feel like the style of this construction build wouldn't work for every character, especially with the very cartoony rounded limbs, but for a character that is very gelatinous like Z-Blob, I think this makes total sense to use the macaroni pieces recolored in transparent green to really be able to get the point of the character across. Overall, for $20, I'm actually pretty happy with this build. I feel like it is really good value. I'm kind of surprised LEGO did not charge more for it, especially with 2 minifigures and a side build. I just really like how it comes together. The only big complaint is the lack of friction in the chest, but that's not that big of a deal because again, when he's standing up, it is mostly okay. Comes with a nicely detailed minifigure for the main hero, a fun robot to play with, what's not to like? And this has been 71454, a quick review of Mateo and Z-Blob the robot, and with that, we only have one more LEGO Dreamzzz set left to review. Alright, and with that, we have summed up our look at Mateo and Z-Blob the robot. Thank you all so much for tuning into Duck Bricks. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming away very soon. And let me know what you thought of the set down in the comments below. Thanks, and bye for now.